To stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered, stay tuned where information is power.
Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Eddie-Fication, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during Eddie-Fication are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
Hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Summer special at Country Cold Store. Get ready to beat the heat with amazing deals on frozen meats and chilled products. Choose from a wide variety of top quality products available at our wholesale department and mini mart. Stock up today and enjoy unbeatable freshness and savings this summer. Call us now for more information at 440-3335. This offer is valid while stocks last.
You're tuned to Eddie Frederick, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful, wonderful. And welcome. It's a plum-pleasing pleasure to be with you once more. So welcome to Eddie-Fication 282 on this last day of August 2025. Goodly folks, just remember, as we enter September, again, you know the rhyme, we ought to remember that this is usually the month where the hurricane season peaks. We should not need to be reminded as to the passage of both Janet and Ivan, 50 years apart. One in the second half and the other in the first few days of September. Let us remember to prepare. And as the world today we know, come on folks, is a totally different place in which we live today. What does that mean? Kindness is a distant memory. No one is actually coming to help us pick up the pieces as we are all on our own of late. As soon as you come into the room today, remember to share, comment, like, love, and interact as you usually do, week after week. You are appreciated indeed. Our topic for today's discussion radiates around evil people never have regrets, only explanations. God knows we live among many of that kind of late. But before we get into the substance of our topic for today, allow me to commiserate with, I would say, the surviving relatives, friends, and professional colleagues of Neelan Franklin, Senior Customs Officer. This youthful, progressive Grenadian has completed his tour of duty on this earth. And to a great extent, his life had some serious aspects to it that taught many of us how to live. Look at the outpouring of sympathy the news of his passing induced. I am sure it is not just the shock of someone so young and promising alone that attracted this level of outpouring, but the way he lived, so cool and calm. Many are questioning why someone so young should depart this life, especially if he were not known to be ailing. Folks, whatever the reason, we all have to use this as a serious warning to take care of number one. You see, too many of our youthful members of society behave as if because they have youth on their side, they could live carelessly, vicariously. Now, I'm not saying that young Franklin was like this, in as much as I'm using this opportunity at his sudden passing to issue a warning to all to take care of your overall health. Your health is reputed for being what? Your wealth. And if perchance you continue to not take care of your health, you will find out. You see, I learned a long time now that he who steals time from his work impacts negatively his productivity. If we live in a structured and well-ordered society where rules apply and are enforced, the lack of adequate productivity levels will earn for any one of us a dismal, dismal future. You see, he who steals time from his sleep impacts negatively his health. This is serious business because such people usually meet an early demise from life. They get a dismissal, ab initio, as some of the lawyers would allude from Latin. You see, there is a fundamental biological truth. Sleep is not merely beneficial for good health. It is absolutely foundational and non-negotiable. It is an integral part to survival, just like water, food, and even the air we breathe. Think of it as the essential maintenance period during which our bodies and our brain perform critical work that cannot be done while we are awake. Why sleep is so indispensable for everyone, from infants to the elderly, you may ask. First and foremost, it's good for the brain. Sleep is the ultimate reset button. You see, memory consolidation and learning can't happen without sleep. You see, during sleep, specifically during the deep and rapid eye movement, REM stages, your brain processes the day's experiences. It strengthens important neutral connections, moving memories from short-term to long-term storage, and it discards irrelevant ones. This is essential for learning new skills, for studying and retaining information. What about the cognitive function? You see, sleep deprivation directly impairs attention, concentration, logical reasoning, and of course, problem-solving abilities. It's like trying to run a high-performance computer with a corrupted operating system. Emotional regulations. You see, an amygdala, which is, of course, the brain's emotional center, it goes into overdrive when you're sleep deprived. This leads to increased irritability, anxiety, mood swings, and a reduced ability to cope with stress. It puts one in readiness to express frustration as a matter of course. Sleep helps maintain emotional balance, emotional equilibrium. Brain detoxification. You see, the glymphatic system, a waste clearance system in the brain, is most active during sleep. It flushes out toxic proteins that accumulate during the day, including beta-amyloids, which is associated with Alzheimer's disease. But you see, sleep for the body is the nightly repair shop, physical repair and growth. You see, deep sleep triggers the release of growth hormones, which is essential for tissue repair, muscle growth, and cell regeneration. This is how your body recovers from the wear and tear of the day. Immune system function. Sleep is a powerful immune booster, folks. During sleep, your body produces and releases cytokines, cytokines, proteins that target infection and inflammation. Chronic sleep deprivation makes you significantly more susceptible to common illnesses like the flu, and it can impair your body's response to vaccines. But what about cardiovascular health? During sleep, your heart rate and blood pressure drop, giving your cardiovascular system, the entire cardiovascular system, a much needed rest. You see, chronic sleep deprivation is linked to an increased risk of hypertension, heart attack, stroke, aneurysm, and of course, coronary heart disease. What about metabolic and endocrine health? Sleep helps regulate the hormones that control appetite, ghrelin and leptin. When you don't sleep enough, ghrelin, the hunger hormone, increases, and leptin, the I think it's this, how is that word pronounced? Satiety? Yes, satiety hormone. It decreases, leading to increased cravings and a higher risk of weight gain and obesity. Isn't that interesting? It also plays a key role in regulating insulin and blood sugar levels. Poor sleep is a major risk factor for developing type 2 diabetes. Folks, you realize how sleep should not be like an option to us. Sleep is integral to our health, like the food we eat, the air we breathe, the water we drink. For safety, sleep is considered the unseen guardian. It helps with reaction time and performance. You see, sleep deprivation slows reaction time as much as or even more than alcohol intoxication. This has catastrophic implications for driving, for operating machinery, and any task that requires alertness. You see, drowsy driving is a leading cause for accidents, many of which lead to death. What about judgment and risk assessment? A tired brain is more impulsive and poor at assessing risk, leading to poor decision making. So, folks, the consequences of neglecting the importance of sleep. What happens when we don't sleep or we don't get enough sleep? You see, the World Health Organization, WHO, has declared a sleep loss epidemic in most of the industrialized nations, consistently getting less than 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. You'd be surprised to know what this is linked to. Increased risk of chronic diseases, heart disease, diabetes, cancer. You see, weakened immune system, cognitive decline and memory problems, mental health disorders, depression, anxiety, for instance, weight gain, decreased libido, accelerated aging. Sleep is not a passive state of inactivity, folks. It is an active, essential, and highly productive biological process. It is the single most effective thing we can do every day to reset our brain and body for health. So to call it integral is an understatement, really. It is a pillar of health, equally as important as nutrition and exercise. The other two pillars. Investing in sleep is not a luxury. It is a fundamental requirement for a long, healthy, and functional life. Goodly folks, these are not things you do not have access to. We all crave the ownership of a smart device, don't we? We seem to place priority on topping up with minutes and data so that we all are well equipped to take pictures of ourselves and post fake images and pose as if we are prosperous when all we're doing is faking it. We have to understand and appreciate that in our hands, look at here, this, in our hands is the source of knowledge. We don't have to totally depend on doctors to live a healthy life. Unfortunately, we tend to visit the doctor when water is more than flour, by which time it is either, of course, too late, or the regimen that we are put on for healthy recovery, we do not have the discipline for. Once we pay attention to the importance of sleep, we will understand a balanced diet, not KFC and sweet drinks, or any street food unsanitarily prepared, but sleep, a healthy diet, and regular exercise can contribute to a healthy lifestyle. Too many of our youthful people are passing away. We can conjure up all sorts of conspiracy theories, but the crux of the matter is based on what is ventilated out there in the open by the vicarious way many of our youthful members of our population live. Too many people are showing us they are not prioritizing their health. Could you imagine you want to sleep almost to the brink of leaving home to go to work, so you have no time to get up and really make a proper, healthy, clean, and sanitary breakfast? But you're leaving the people's workplace and you're happy to run somewhere in some corner by the side of the road or from somebody in a basket, buying something in a paper bag. You don't even know how it was prepared. These people making our money. We need to have the discipline to take care of number one. Folks, when last I checked, the only container God gave you so that you can pour your life into is this, the only one you have. Stop neglecting it for all other vicarious priorities that in the end don't make any sense. Take care of yourselves. Anyhow, enough said here on this important issue of health. When we return, we will dive into the real topic for today. Evil people never have regrets, only explanations. So folks, come on, hit the share button. Tag your friends that you haven't seen on the live yet. You know they're accustomed being here. You haven't seen them? Come on, encourage them. Get them to come online because this topic is riveting, very instructive, and you will get a lot of food for thought today. So let's take a little break and we'll come right back with a lot more, a lot more.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
To summer special at Country Cold Store. Get ready to beat the heat with amazing deals on frozen meats and chilled products. Choose from a wide variety of top quality products available at our wholesale department and Mini Mart. Stock up today and enjoy unbeatable freshness and savings this summer. Call us now for more information at 440-3335. This offer is valid while stocks last.
You're tuned to Eddie Frederick, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks. Wonderful. So welcome back. And for those of you just joining, I'd like to say welcome to Edification 282. Thanks for joining us. And it's a plumb pleasing pleasure to have you in the room today. And just shouting out to Samuel, Dr. Peters, Natalie, Maria, Ermi. Who else do we have here? Bless Gal. Wonderful. It's lovely to welcome you back, my dear. Great to have you. I know you're a very busy individual, so it's always a pleasure to have you. Alan, welcome, welcome. Shirley Ann, Agatha, wonderful. Wayne, who else? David, hi. Oh man, you're just a stalwart. Clint, good to have you. Denise, Marlon, Joan, Yolande. Who else do we have here today? Who else? Richard, welcome. This is someone I practically grew up with. I know all my life. It's so good to have him when he can make it. Lima, good to have you. Judith, who else? Sure, but I think I called Shirley Ann earlier, but there's no point in, if I do it twice, that's okay. Karima, Bevin, Anne-Marie. Wow, it's so good to have you all folks in the room today. Jennifer. Oh, you're just a stalwart. Good to have you, my dear. Good to have you. Roxy. Oh my, you're so sweet. It's always so lovely to have you, my dear. Thanks, Bernadette. Okay, yes, it's good. Marlene, Doris. Oh yes. Reggie, my good old friend, man. It's lovely to have you. Samantha. Yes, this is somebody I knew since she was born. Jillian, wonderful to have you. And for those of you who would have noticed some of your stalwarts are not here today, do what you're supposed to do. Tag them, because this topic, evil people never have regrets, only explanations, is just a topic not to miss. Of course, this is a powerful and provocative statement that gets to the heart of a certain kind of harmful behavior that we see in so many people nowadays. Just the statement itself tells a story that we must demand some clarification on both its meaning and the psychology behind it. You see, the phrase evil people never have regrets, only explanations, suggests a fundamental difference in how truly malevolent, wicked, and unkind, or even deeply self-centered people process their own harmful actions compared to people with a healthy conscience. Here is a breakdown of what it means. You see, folks, the truth is the nature of evil in this context. We have to understand that first. So primarily, evil here does not necessarily mean a cartoonish supervillain. It often refers to people who consistently cause harm to others while being utterly unconcerned with the emotional or physical damage that they leave in their wake. This can include, of course, malignant narcissists, those with an extreme sense of entitlement and a lack of empathy. They're only around to use others, that's all. Sociopaths or psychopaths, individuals characterized by a lack of remorse, a lack of empathy, and of course, shallow, very, very shallow emotions. What about abusers and manipulators? Those who use others for their own gain and justify their actions. You see, never have regrets. Then you operate on the absence of remorse. For most people, regret is an emotional experience. It's a feeling of guilt. It's a feeling of sadness or disappointment over a wrong or foolish action that hurt someone else. But it involves empathy, the ability to understand and feel the pain you caused, self-reflection, the willingness to look honestly at your own behavior, a moral compass, an internal sense of right and wrong. You see, the statement argues that evil people lack this capacity. They do not feel bad about their actions because, on some fundamental level, they believe their actions were justified or necessary. Their primary concern is in themselves, not the well-being of their victim. Oh no, the victim could die for that matter. Only explanations, the justification engine. You see, if they don't feel regret, as they never do, what do they have? Explanations. These are not honest reasons, but rather justifications and even rationalizations. Their purpose is not to apologize and make amends, but to deflect blame. I only did this because you made me angry. See that? They blame you. Minimize their actions. It wasn't that big of a deal. You're too sensitive, man. You see that? They reframe the narrative. What I actually did was for your own good, to teach you a lesson. You get the message? Avoid accountability. I had no other choice given the circumstances. You see these explanations? They are a form of self-preservation. They protect the individual's ego and self-image. Admitting they were wrong and feeling genuine regret would be too damaging to their fragile sense of self. But you see, folks, we have to look at cognitive dissonance. And that is where the psychological mechanism comes in. This behavior is a classic example of that cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort that would result from holding two conflicting beliefs. I am a good person, that's one belief. And I did a terrible thing, that's another belief. You see, a healthy person resolves this dissonance by acknowledging the terrible thing, feeling the regret, and trying with zeal to make it right. An individual with the traits described resolves it differently. They change the narrative around the terrible thing until it no longer conflicts with their belief that they are a good person. Hence, the action becomes justified, necessary, or the victim's fault. The explanation eliminates the need to regret. Let's look at a simple example. A person with regret might say, I'm so sorry I yelled at you. I was stressed. But that's no excuse. It was wrong and I hurt you. I am really, really sorry. But a person with only an explanation might say, yeah, I yelled. You have to understand I was under a lot of pressure at work. If you hadn't been nagging me, it would never have happened. You see, the first statement acknowledges the harm. The second explains it away and shifts the blame. The statement is a sharp observation about a specific type of character. It highlights that the most dangerous and damaging people are often not those who do bad things in a moment of weakness, but those who have a sophisticated mental framework for justifying their actions, protecting their ego, and evading any responsibility, replacing the emotional weight of regret with the hollow logic of an excuse. We have been in situations where we either behaved as either party, with regret or offer explanation while we blame our victim. The truth is, the latter is all too common nowadays, as many among us are not interested in taking responsibility for our actions. But when our nation would have had an extended period of time to be dumbed down, as the period 1995 to 2022 for the most part, that period offered many of our people that dumbing down diet. You cannot be quizzical as to why a large swath of our people follow their leader to offer explanations and no regret, thus assuming the position of being evil, just like their leader. State freeness done since the majority of our people elected a new sheriff in town on June 23rd, 2022. And instead of getting up and they loved the vote farm so much, where they were taught how to be entitled and totally dependent, that contractors have to be applying for work permits to import labor instead of them joining the breadline to look for gainful employment while they learn a proper trade. And their leaders are all over talking about how people suffering instead of speaking the truth, that their vote farm occupants are choosing to suffer. But you see, folks, the worst examples of evil people who never have regrets, only explanations, came from our local politicians around the precincts of power who normalized this behavior between 1995 and 2022 for the most part. You see, the behavior of these inferior politicians that aligns with the phrase never have regrets, only explanations, is not necessarily a sign of inherent evil, but rather a result of powerful seismic pressures and psychological incentives that shape their craving for success in that profession. Let me share with you my deep-seated belief as to why these inferiors that pass themselves off as politicians often behave this way. You see, the arena, they see politics as a non-zero-sum game. At its core, modern politics, as normalized by that old nastiness and his goons, is a brutal battle for power, for influence, and very limited resources. Example, votes, parliamentary seats, and media attention. And that is often a zero-sum game. For one side to win, the other must lose. This environment creates immense pressure, where admitting a mistake is seen as handing ammunition to your opponents. A regret or apology becomes a soundbite in an attack ad, a headline for opposing side, and a sign of weakness to your allies. Explanations, on the other hand, are a form of defense. They are considered tools to control the narrative, rally your base, and neutralize attacks. What utter dishonesty. You see, the currency, the power, is really power and survival. A politician's primary goal is often to gain and maintain power, to achieve their goals, whether noble or self-serving. And folks, this survival instinct overrides the personal impulse to express regret. When it comes to fundraising, donors and special interests are investing in a winner. Showing doubt or error can make you look like a bad investment. Elections, oh Lord, every decision is filtered through the lens of how will this play with the voters I need? A sincere apology might appeal to a sense of fairness, but a strong, defiant explanation often plays better to a base that wants to see strength and conviction. Without realizing, they are aiding and abetting nonsense, which could come back to bite them in the behind. You see, party loyalty, politicians operate with a tribe. Admitting fault can be seen as betraying the tribe's unified front. Explaining and justifying your actions, even flawed ones, reinforces tribal solidarity. And we have been seeing this with the National Nasty Party for all of its existence since it got hijacked in 1989. You see, the mindset, ideology, and certainty, strong ideology. Many politicians are driven by a powerful ideology or a set of beliefs that are steeped in abject dishonesty. From within that framework, their actions are not seen as wrong or evil. They are instead seen as necessary steps towards a greater good, gaining and maintaining power. Any negative consequences are unfortunate collateral damage on the path to what their myopia considers to be a better society. This allows them to bypass regret entirely. Yet for all, that brand of politician, when you see they go to church, they're right up in front. But look at the devious nature that they would be part of, immersed in, steeped in, just to secure and maintain power. Yet for all, they're gone to church. And you get certain preachers calling them good people. What about the certainty trap? Voters and the media often demand leaders who project absolute certainty. Doubt is framed as indecisive. Therefore, politicians are incentivized to never show doubt, even in the face of clear error. Doubling down with an explanation is a way to project that demanded certainty. You see, the ecosystem, the media and public discourse, the 24/7 news cycle, they pander to. The modern media environment is fast and unforgiving. There is no time for reflection. There is no time for contemplation or genuine remorse. The first priority is always to respond, to get an explanation out there, to shape the story before the opponents do. Soundbite culture, they feed into that. Complex issues are reduced to simple talking points. A nuanced apology doesn't fit. A pithy, defensive explanation does. I was wrong is a weak soundbite. I made the best decision possible with the information I had at the time is a robust, defensible explanation. We have heard all that too often. What about hyper-partisan media? As has been the case here locally from 1995 to 2022 for the most part, and residually in current times. Politicians often speak directly to media outlets that support their side. In these echo chambers, explanations are celebrated and reinforced, never questioned in a way that would provoke or even result in genuine regret. You see, the psychological shift, us versus them, comes into play here too. To thrive in this environment, many politicians undergo a psychological shift. They start to see the world in stark us versus them terms. Moral justification. Actions that harm them are easily justified because they are a threat to us, our values, and our country. We regret harming an opponent. You see, dehumanization. When political opponents are framed as un-Grenadian, corrupt, or a threat to our way of life, standard rules of decay and reciprocity no longer apply. Explanations are crafted for us, not for them. You see, is it all politicians who behave like that, folks? It's crucial to avoid overgeneralization. But you see, many politicians enter public service with genuine idealism. What a pity, over the years, we can find very few who maintained that during their political life, they should really hold on to their genuine idealism, and who have retired with their character intact. However, the system itself selectively rewards those who can master the art of explanation and justification, and punishes those who can master the art of vulnerability or regret. You see, the behavior described in the phrase is less about individual morality and more about rational response to a perverse set of incentives. The system is designed to produce politicians who excel at providing explanations, not expressing regrets. And that is precisely why we chose this topic here today. Evil people never have regrets, only explanations. Let's take a little break, and we come in, we'll return for segment 3. Here we go.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned, where information is power.
Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
Hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
To summer special at Country Cold Store. Get ready to beat the heat with amazing deals on frozen meats and chilled products. Choose from a wide variety of top quality products available at our wholesale department and Mini Mart. Stock up today and enjoy unbeatable freshness and savings this summer. Call us now for more information at 440-3335. This offer is valid while stocks last.
You're tuned to Eddie Frederick, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wunderbar, as the Germans would say, folks. It's a plum pleasing pleasure to be back again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Of course, you know, we have to remember to stay hydrated because this is the weatherman did indicate to us that it was going to be a very hot September. A matter of fact, the forecast said towards the end of July till September, and that will go through to the end of September based on forecast. So take precautions, folks. It's going to be very, very hot. So make sure you stay hydrated if you can't avoid being inside and away from the heat. Welcome back, folks. And for those of you just joining, I'd like to say welcome to the program. It's better late than dead on time. We're very, very happy to have you. And keep interacting. Keep your comments coming. They're very pungent. I've been looking at them during the little break. And you people are very interactive, I dare say. Folks, there's a question that we would ask when we hear the topic today. Evil people never have regrets, only explanation. Especially that segment that I've just explained there to you when it comes to why our politicians fall into that evil people never having regrets, only explanation kind of, category. The question we would ask is, where is integrity in all of this? Where is integrity? No, that's the most vital question of all. It feels like integrity is the casualty or the missing piece, the virtue that is sacrificed on the altars of power, tribalism, and survival. But its location is more complex than simply being gone. Here is where we might find integrity in the political realm and why it's so often hidden. You see, integrity is the quiet acts, not the loud explanations. Integrity is in the quiet acts, always in the quiet acts. True political integrity is often boring and doesn't make headlines. It is found in the staffer who refuses to leak classified information, even when it would be politically advantageous. The legislator who painstakingly reads the 1,000-page bill, trying to understand its implications for an obscure but vital industry in their district or community. The official who meets with constituents they deeply disagree with, listening respectfully instead of just preaching to the choir. The vote cast against a popular party line bill because it's poorly drafted or fiscally irresponsible, even though it will earn them scorn. The political figure who comes to office talking and living by the words integrity, accountability, and good governance. You see, these acts lack drama. They are not televised. They are the quiet daily choices to put principles above policies, but are rewarded with what? Ridicule. You see, integrity is in the cost, not the reward. In the modern political arena, integrity often has a negative return on investment. So it's expensive. It can cost you an election. A sincere apology or admission of error can be weaponized instantly, as we have seen between 1995 and 2022 for the most part. It can cost you fundraising. Donors want fighters for their cause, not compromisers. It can cost you influence within your party. Those who break ranks are often sidelined. Therefore, demonstrating integrity often means accepting a personal or professional cost for a principled stand. This is why it's so rare and so admirable when integrity shows its head. It's a form of political courage. Such leaders with integrity often, after taking, I would say, the boot out of office, can afford to walk the streets and go about their business without personal security, because they have no guilty conscience, so they never fear the midnight knocking. Isn't that beautiful? They don't have to be afraid of the midnight knocking. You see, integrity is in the long game, not the 24-hour news cycle. The system rewards short-term tactical wins. A nasty tweet that goes viral, a soundbite that fires up the base. Integrity is often a long-term investment whose payoffs are invisible in the moment, but may include the following: trust. A reputation for integrity is, folks, whether you like it or not, the currency that takes years to build and a second to be destroyed. The politician known for keeping their word, even when it's difficult, builds deep, lasting trust with colleagues, which is essential for achieving complex bipartisan goals. What about legacy? History's judgment is often kinder to those who acted with integrity than to those who won the daily news cycle with the media, especially a media like ours known mostly to be on their side. Out of power, such politicians face the wrath of citizens who are prepared to use social media to put the demonic tendencies of such evil leaders into perspective. We remember leaders who stood on principle during a crisis long after we've forgotten the attack ads of their opponents. You see, integrity is in the structure, not just the individual. Ultimately, we cannot rely solely on moral character of individual politicians. Integrity must be baked into the system itself through robust, enforced structures, strong, independent institutions, a free press, which Grenada yearns for, an independent judiciary, and non-partisan oversight bodies like inspectors general and ethics committees. Those should form the guardrails that punish a lack of integrity and make explanations less effective. Transparency. Laws that require transparency in fundraising, lobbying, and government contracting for sunlight, the best disinfectant, onto actions that would otherwise be explained away in dark corners. Consequences. You see, when there are no real consequences for lying, for thieving, for corruption, for bubble or abuse of power, the incentives for integrity vanishes. You see, systems that hold power accountable make integrity the rational choice. But what is the citizen's role in all of this? Where is integrity? But you see, integrity is simultaneously under assault by the incentives of modern politics, especially the dirty kind that was introduced to Grenada between 1995 and 2022, for the most part, by that old nastiness, which for all intents and purposes has been normalized. It is simultaneously alive and well in the quiet, often unseen actions of many public servants, even in the face of the saboteurs. It is simultaneously a costly choice that requires courage. It is a systemic feature that we as citizens must demand through our votes and our insistence on accountability. People will always get the politicians they reward. If we, the electorate, reward fiery explanations and punish nuanced regrets, if we prize tribal victory over principled compromise, then we are complicit in driving integrity into hiding. The search for integrity in politics begins with us demanding it, valuing it, and rewarding it at the ballot box. What kind of legacy lurks for such lacking in integrity political figures? You see, the legacy that lurks for such political figures is not the one they've carefully crafted with their explanations, but the one that history quietly assigns through the law of karma. It is a legacy that often unfolds in two acts, the immediate and the historical. And so far, the old nastiness is actually losing on both fronts, because the law of karma, as powerful as it is, has been taking its big chunks of bites out of that old Ccht. You see, this is why it is so tempting, folks. In looking at the immediate legacy, the one that they see, in the short term, the no regrets, only explanations model can look like a resounding success. And as I alluded, this is why it is so tempting. You see, a strong base. They are often celebrated as fighters and uncompromising champions by their core supporters. This loyalty can seem like a legacy in itself. Power achieved. They may win elections, pass legislation, and dominate the news cycle. By the metrics of raw power and attention, they appear victorious. The illusion of strength, the refusal to ever apologize, is framed as toughness and conviction. They build a brand of being impervious to attack. But beneath the surface, this particular surface that you're seeing there, the legacy is already rotting, or for that matter, has already rotted. This is what lurks just out of sight. What about the erosion of trust? While their base may adore them, they irrevocably destroy trust with everyone else who make up a majority. Colleagues, opponents, and the media learn that this person operates in bad faith. This makes genuine governance nearly impossible. A legacy of division. They aren't remembered for uniting people behind a common cause, but for deepening societal fractures. Their name becomes a cultural trigger, synonymous with rancor and hostility for a large portion of the population. What about the empty Rolodex? You see, they leave behind no loyal allies, only transactional acquaintances and embittered former subordinates. When they finally leave power, or better yet, get pushed out of power, they find they have no one to call for an honest favor, only those who owed them a debt. It is a profoundly lonely legacy. Even children of their transactional acquaintances migrate away from them. You see, the historical legacy is important for us to look at now, the one that lurks and waits. This is the true enduring judgment that emerges after the news cycle ends and the sycophants disperse. You see, history's gaze is cold. History's gaze is slow and brutal to this type of figure. What about the footnote of folly? You see, many will simply not be remembered at all. Their name becomes a trivial answer to a history quiz question. They are a footnote, remembered only for a scandal or many scandals, or a gaffe or several of them. Their lifetime of explanations rendered utterly meaningless by the passage of time. This is often the kindest fate. What about the cautionary tale? For the most significant figures, their name becomes shorthand for a negative trait. They are not remembered for their policies, but for their flawed character. They become the avatar of corruption. Remember, like Nixon and Watergate? The old nastiness and habitual accusations of corruption and bubble. They become the poster child for hubris and arrogance. They become the example of short-sightedness, the leader who sold the future for a present-day win. Their legacy is to be used by teachers and parents as a warning. Don't be like X, and in this case, don't be like the old nastiness. The undone work. Excuse me. You see, the most poetical, just legacy is that their life's work does not endure. Legislation built on division and rammed through without consensus is the easiest to overturn. Norms they broke are quickly repaired after they're gone. The institutions they attacked often emerge stronger once the threat has passed. This is a work in progress as we speak. They spent a lifetime acquiring power to create a lasting change, only for history to reveal that their impact was shallow, temporary, and ultimately reversed. They built a palace on sand, and the tide of history washed it away, leaving no trace. But folks, there's an ultimate irony. The greatest irony is that the very thing they refuse to show, vulnerability, is the key to a positive legacy. We remember leaders who showed humanity, who admitted error, and who grew. We trust them. We see their struggles as our own. The figure with no regrets, only explanations, builds a legacy not of strength, but of brittleness. It looks solid until the slightest pressure of historical judgment taps it. And then it shatters into dust, remembered only as a warning of how not to lead. Folks, I did warn you, evil people never have regrets. They only have explanations. But karma deals with them in the end. Folks, let's take a break here and we'll come back with our fourth segment, and we have a fifth. So bear with me today.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
Hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
still summer special at Country Cold Store. Get ready to beat the heat with amazing deals on frozen meats and chilled products. Choose from a wide variety of top quality products available at our wholesale department and Minimart. Stock up today and enjoy unbeatable freshness and savings this summer. Call us now for more information at 440-3335. This offer is valid while stocks last.
You're tuned to Eddie Frederick, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, 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 folks. What causes anyone to gravitate towards evil, especially when that person enters politics? I wonder, what is so appetizing about evil for people once they get into politics to so become? Is it power? Is it poor socialization? What is it? And then when you see them after they're out of power, they look like a piece of vagrant in the road. Nobody taking them on. That is enough revenge, folks. Just looking at them as a nobody on the side of the road is enough, It's really sad. That is a profound and complex question that has been debated by philosophers, theologians, even psychologists for hundreds of years, it would appear. This is because badness didn't just start the other day. These people were not the inventors of that level of badness. No, badness started a long time now when it comes to people gravitating towards evil, especially when in position of power. When applied to politics, a field where power, ideology, and public good intersect, the reasons someone might gravitate towards evil become even more multifaceted. Folks, you wonder why? Why? It's crucial to first define evil. In this context, let's use the practical definition. Consensus, persistent action that would cause, I would say, severe harm to others for personal gain, ideological zeal or sheer enjoyment, while often rationalizing the behavior with what? Explanations. You see, the gravitation towards such actions is merely a sudden flip of a switch. It's more often a slow slide down a slippery slope, fueled by a combination of personal psychology, systemic, I would say, pressures, and ideological justification. But let's just look at a few key factors that cause this gravitational pull, especially in politics. Power has a corrupting nature. You see, Lord Acton's axiom is relevant here. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And it remains a core insight. What about the psychological shift? Power can create a sense of entitlement and superiority. It can lead to dehumanization of subordinates or opponents, making it easier to justify harming them because they are no longer seen as equals. Distance from consequences. You see, political leaders often make decisions, example, budget cuts, military actions, whose devastating consequences are felt by people that they will never meet. This insulation from real-world outcomes makes it easier to make cold, calculating, and even harmful choices. The end justifies the means. This is perhaps the most common pathway in politics. A person enters with a noble goal, but becomes convinced that any action, including lying, corruption, or even violence, is justified to achieve it. Ideological zealotry. You see, an unwavering belief that one's ideology is the only path to a perfect society can justify silencing, imprisoning, or eliminating those who stand in the way. The greater good becomes a blank check for atrocity. Tribalism and othering. Folks, politics is inherently group-based. This can quickly morph into us versus them thinking. Once the other side, doesn't matter which side you're on, the other side, once that side is framed as evil, stupid, or less than human, harming them becomes not just acceptable, but patriotic or even righteous. This is a classic precursor to persecution. There are some systemic incentives and ambition, folks. The political system itself often rewards behavior that, in a different context rather, would be considered immoral. The need to win. You see, the primary goal becomes acquiring and maintaining power, not good governance or governing well. This can justify smear campaigns, spreading disinformation, breaking promises, and cronyism. Winning the game becomes more important than the principles it's supposed to be based on. We are living that in Grenada right now, as since June of 2022, is real old mass. The losers keep playing. What about fundraising and corruption? The constant need for money to run campaigns creates a system ripe for corruption. Access and influence are sold to the highest bidder. What starts as a necessary compromise can slowly evolve into outright selling of policies or pardons, while normalizing wrongs nationally, as was the case here in Grenada from 1995 to 2022 for the most part. Once on the other side, psychologist Albert Bandura described the mental mechanisms that people use to evade guilt for harmful actions. You see, these are rampant in our local politics. Euphemistic language. Harmful acts are rebranded with sterile bureaucratic language. Civilian casualties become collateral damage. Torture becomes enhanced interrogation. This language strips the action of its moral and emotional weight. What about displacement of responsibility? I was just following orders. Or this is what the past party base wants. The individual hides behind the chain of command or the so-called will of their supporters. Advantageous comparison. My corruption is nothing compared to what the other side does. This minimizes one's own harm by comparing it to a real or imagined greater evil. Blame the victim. They brought this upon themselves. This is used to justify everything from cutting social programs, they were just lazy, to violent repression. They were provoking us. Personality and even psychology come into play here now, folks. While not every politician with these traits become evil, certain predispositions can make the slide much easier. Narcissism, a grandiose sense of self-importance, a need for excessive admiration, and a lack of empathy. This aligns perfectly with the thirst for power and adulation in politics, because such people know for a fact that without power, they are nothing. But we're seeing that here with the old nastiness. Without power, without the 2 black cars and police driving him and a whole slew of security all around him, he is nothing. What about Machiavellianism? A personality trait that characterizes, or is characterized, I should say, by cunning, manipulation, and a cold, calculated focus on self-interest. The political playbook is essentially Machiavellian. We here in Grenada don't have to look too far for such creature. What about psychopathy? Antisocial personality disorder, characterized by a profound lack of empathy, remorse, and shallow emotions. While rare, this combination is incredibly dangerous when combined with political power, as the individual feels no guilt for their actions. When such individuals are outside the corridors of power, you could see them scared of reprisals, which they expect one way or other. A true reflection of, if it were the other way around, how they would have behaved or reacted. The slippery slope, how it happens. Folks, it's really a single rather decision to be evil. It's a series of small compromises. A small lie to make an opponent look bad, but this takes on a life of its own with no stop. A broken promise to a donor that benefits you. Using a dehumanizing nickname for a rival to energize your base, like Bulaman and all other gutter language. Folks, we don't have to look too far for that. But these are the people that expect you to bathe, dress up, and go and dirty your finger, stain your finger to vote for them. This gutter mouth people. You see, hiding an inconvenient truth because it hurts your party's chances. We just were not able for all of the 23 years when we compare how much this group of supposed youth novices have done in the short 3 years. You see, that's an inconvenient truth that is hidden. Abusing power to punish that rival, believing their existence is a threat to the nation, so refusing to underwrite Nazim Burke's appointment to an international organization and coming and boast to the nation about it, and even ensuring that Richard Duncan's, Nolan Murray's, Merrill Forsyth's et al., they have to go so that they could have their way with the focus to dismantle and mangle the entire public service. People as principled as the Duncan, Richard Duncan, Nolan Murray, Merrill Forsyth would not sit there and allow that. Oh no. So they would be a humbug. So let's get rid of them. You see, each step is rationalized, making the next more severe step easier to take. The moral compass resets until the unthinkable becomes standard procedure or normalized. Folks, I submit, people gravitate towards evil in politics through a toxic interplay of personal ambition, ideological certainty, and a system that rewards winning above all else. They are enabled by psychological mechanisms that allow them to disengage their morality and are often surrounded by sycophants who reinforce their justifications. It is the ultimate testament to the fact that power doesn't just reveal character, it can actively corrupt it. As Hannah Arendt said recently, the essence of evil is its refusal to think. And that is why I am so hell-bent that evil people never have regrets, only explanations. Folks, when we come back, we come with a final segment today so that you can leave happy.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
To summer special at Country Cold Store. Get ready to beat the heat with amazing deals on frozen meats and chilled products. Choose from a wide variety of top quality products available at our wholesale department and mini mart. Stock up today and enjoy unbeatable freshness and savings this summer. Call us now for more information at 440-3335. This offer is valid while stocks last.
You're tuned to Eddie Frederick, where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks, wonderful. So welcome back, welcome back. It's a real pleasure to have you in the room today and always. Now, the pleasure is mine once more to share with you the following great news for a woman after my own heart, a stalwart and a true patriot. I have had the pleasure of working along with this professional Grenadian woman of substance, and all I can say is that she exhibits no prejudice, except that of working along with whom she considers the best at getting the job done. I'm therefore not surprised to learn of the Ministry of Education's decision to warmly welcome her as the newly appointed Chief Education Officer as at Monday, 25th August, 2025. Dr. Diane Abel Jeffrey began her journey as an educator in 1996 at McDonald College, serving as a teacher until 2016. She then transitioned to the role of principal at St. Andrew's Anglican Secondary School, SAS, in February of 2016 until July 2025. Dr. Abel Jeffrey has also served as a trade unionist in the position of Assistant General Secretary of the Grenada Union of Teachers, GUT, and as an administrator. She served as president of the Caribbean Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, CAPS, president of the Grenada Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, GAPS, chair of the Grenada Secondary Schools Games Association, member of the Board of Governors Caribbean Examinations Council, and partner of CARICOM Girls in ICT Partnership. What a stalwart indeed. She held a certificate, or holds rather, a certificate of education in teacher education, Bachelor of Education Administration, first class honors, a Master of French language, a Master of Language Education in French major and Spanish minor, and a doctorate in educational leadership. Wow. Dr. Diane Abel Jeffrey is a proud alumnus of St. Giles Anglican School, St. Andrew's Anglican Secondary School, T.A. Marisho Community College, and of course the University of the West Indies. Dr. Abel Jeffrey is the wife of our local culture icon and long-standing senior public servant, Finley Jeffrey, the scholar. This is what Focus does for anyone who has staying power and is fueled by discipline to grow through life, instead of taking the easy way out to just simply go through life. I offer my sincere congratulations to this strong Grenadian woman with the temerity of a true giant, who I have every confidence will help to provide the much needed leadership as the government seeks to truly transform education in Grenada. I invite you to place in the comments your genuine congratulations to Dr. Diane Abel Jeffrey on her well-suited appointment. Come on, folks, do what you must. For in the midst of our apparent scarcity of talent, we have some shining stars worthy of celebration. Come on, congratulate Dr. Diane Abel Jeffrey on her well-suited appointment. As we wind down here today, folks, I am sure you will agree with J.J. Douglas. Even you, the professional pretenders, you see, the most expensive thing you will ever be in this life is yourself. After all, everyone else is already taken. People don't usually tell you who they are. They give speeches which they rehearsed in the mirror. They hand you the version of themselves they wished existed. Most of their words are just custom. Most introductions are just auditions. But when you truly choose to be yourself, there is a price tag, goodly folks. This is not on clearance. It is heavy. Who you truly are will always dictate what you receive. When you are light, you must never be surprised when darkness despises you. When you are love, don't be shocked when hate comes knocking at your door. It is a known fact that love irritates hate, just like sunlight irritates eyes that have been comfortable in the dark for too long. Being yourself is truly expensive because you are not paying with money. You are paying with misunderstanding, which costs dearly. You are paying with being overlooked by all the pretenders who, for the most part, end up as custodians of power in society. You are paying with nights where you question if it is actually worth it. But our triune God did not call you to be a discount version of yourself. He called you to be the original masterpiece. Be yourself, folks. Respect lurks when you are yourself. But here is an important truth. You are never crucified for being fake. Folks, they crucify you for being real. I know that what I'm talking about, as I have been all too often a victim. As Christians, we ought to recall that even Jesus, the purest expression of love, was hated by the very people he came to save. That is the receipt we get for authenticity. It irritates spirits that don't want to be confronted. So you, being yourself, might cost you relationships. It might cost you opportunities. It might even cost you peace with people you wanted peace with. But it will never, never cost you the favor of God. If I have got to choose between applause from people and approval from God, Give me God every time. Because at the end of the day, being yourself isn't about comfort. It is about calling. I therefore, urge you, if your authenticity irritates demons, maybe it's proof that your identity was anointed in the first place. So go ahead and be yourself without any explanation whatsoever. Just don't be shocked when being yourself exposes who everybody else really is. Don't be tempted to believe anyone who mistakes your true authenticity for madness. Oh no, stay the course. Continue to reveal who they really are because you are you. Folks, they expected you to plot, to fight, to break down. But you'd be surprised to know the chosen doesn't have to chase after revenge. You, when you are a chosen one, funny enough, you are the revenge. Your very survival is their very punishment. They plot and connive behind your back, but God continues to bless you in front of their faces. Your glow is their karma. Every breath you take in peace burns them more than any curse could. Revenge isn't something you search for. It is something you embody. When God lifts you higher, every enemy that plotted against you is forced to watch. And that fight is the revenge they cannot handle. You did not have to do anything. Just being chosen is the strike back. Chosen one, keep shining. Keep rising. Because your existence is the revenge. Trust me, your life will always be the clapback. It is always good, folks, when you already know the truth. This helps you to tolerate storytellers, to see when they are lying. And boy, do you. Do you really know when they're lying? Anyone can feel free to tell everyone that I'm a monster in their story. All I ask them to do is to mention which chapter they created me. Remember, folks, you do not owe anyone anything. This is the time when you put yourself first. We are living in dangerous times where putting others first no longer works out. Our word is too full of takers. This world today, only takers who have no season. A lot of these people you've put first end up putting you last. They come to you for everything, and you cannot go to them for anything. I trust that as you start to focus on yourself today and moving forward, you would realize that it is not selfish in as much as it is self-care. For no one, absolutely no one is coming to save us in these times of chaos. Our life is our responsibility and our responsibility alone. When you are not inclined to be evil but straightforward, the fakes of our society will always try to paint you as uncaring and selfish. Just remember, as long as you are in your lane, you are on the right track with your life. Remember for this week and always, evil people never have regrets, only explanations. Don't be like them. Just open your eyes and you'll be able to identify them going forward. Folks, I am in, I am out, and I'm gone. I want to say thank you for joining today. Continue to share. See you next week at the same time, same place for more extraordinary programming. Until then, stay safe, stay well, remain vigilant, and stay lifted. Stay focused, please. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Type in my name, Edward or Eddie Frederick. Subscribe, like, and share. And be prepared to receive your mental multivitamins. as straight up as I deliver them. Toodle-oo, folks. Have a great week. And remember, whatever you do, you are contributing to the development of Grenada. So reshape whatever you do and however you do it.
Want to stay informed, get educated, and feel empowered? Stay tuned where information is power.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This has been Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy.
So summer special at Country Cold Store. Get ready to beat the heat with amazing deals on frozen meats and chilled products. Choose from a wide variety of top quality products available at our wholesale department and Mini Mart. Stock up today and enjoy unbeatable freshness and savings this summer. Call us now for more information at 440-3335. This offer is valid while stocks last.
Need a personal integrity booster shot? Your prescription is right here. Tune in with Eddie Frederick every week. Information is power.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.